Hi guys, and welcome to Yoga for BJJ. My name is Sebastian Brosch, and today I'm a rock. And I'm gonna teach you rocks, fellow rocks, how to play the inverted guard and still be a rock. Okay, so first of all, the inverted guard is this. But actually this is not a position I ever want to find myself in jiu-jitsu, because it's a completely defensive position. You don't actually want to roll back to your neck with your hips lifted, because the guy can control you and you can't do much from there. So what we're going to do instead is one stretch for the back, one stretch for the front, and one core exercise that will help you. So the first stretch I want to show you is if you're a rock, which means your legs can't get over your hips because your back is too tight. Then you put something under your hips, you grab onto your hamstrings and try pulling your knees as close to your shoulders as possible. It doesn't matter how far they go, as long as your biceps is helping your hip flexor to pull the legs in, so you don't have to bother about fatigue in the hip flexor. Stay here and then stretch one leg out to the side and bend it again. So you just stay here and go from side to side for as long as you can take, like 20 on each side or 50 on each side. Stay here for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and just kind of bicycle from side to side. And you're pulling the knees in all the time, which is a good thing because you're decreasing the distance between your ribs and your thighs, which is great because that's the space your opponent has to actually control you in side control or knee and belly. So that's one good thing. And the other thing we're doing is we're stretching the hamstrings so that you're increasing your defense range. If the guy is passing you to north-south and you can put your foot there, you're going to be hard to pass. But you're probably going to need like 10,000 reps of this, which might take like 3, 4, or 5 weeks. But you will notice a tremendous difference if you do this for 5 minutes every day. All right, that's one thing. That's the back side. The front side is equally important because we use the biceps to assist our hip flexors, because our hip flexors are really weak. And we want to change that by first stretching them out. They're weak because they're tight. So if you sit onto something, you can put a padding under your shins, or if your knees are hurting, you can place something under your butt. And then you just sit down and lean back. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your belly, and kind of push your hips up without actually lifting them. So you're stretching the quads and the hip flexors. If you're a rock like me today, you do one side at a time. If this is too much to sit here, then you move towards the wall, so you're actually sitting, leaning back to the wall, watching Game of Thrones or Coronation Street or wherever you're watching, and then you keep squeezing the butt, stretching your front side, chilling here for at least 2 minutes. If your leg falls asleep, you're excused, then you can just switch side. But don't be lazy in your butt. Squeeze your butt and stretch the hip flexor. Of course, when you do one side, then you do the other for equal amount of time. Having a timer on your phone is a good thing. Just try to see if you can do 3 minutes, stay there, and when it beeps, you switch. It's nice to have your little, like the smartphone is already running your whole life, so why not even your yoga practice, right? So that's the hip flexors, and when you stretch the hip flexors, they're gonna be able to contract more. If they're loose, they're also gonna be strong. All right, so we're done with the front side and the back side. Now it's just one more exercise to actually strengthen your core and your hip flexors. So legs straight or bent, doesn't matter. Don't use too much momentum. Start small and kind of look to the right and lift your hips over your shoulder. Look over the left shoulder, lift your hips over your left shoulder, and then you just do this from side to side. So you're not rolling up on the neck and making hernias in your neck. You're just using your core to lift your hips. And this together with a spider guard is both offensive and defensive at the same time. So if you can learn to straighten out, roll over your shoulder, and never actually have any weight into your neck, then you can be a rock and still play a little bit of the inverted guard. You're probably never gonna be a rubber person who can put the legs behind their head, but I don't think that's a good thing, because when people use their hip flexibility and mobility in jiu-jitsu, usually it says crack and the meniscus it has a tear and needs surgery. I see it on flexible people all the time. I don't see it in inflexible people because there is too much resisting. So what you need is strong muscles that are also mobile. And I think this is a great exercise to start playing the inverted guard if you're a rock. So if you're a rock, try these 3 for a few weeks and see if it works. And if you find it hard to understand what's going on, then I made a full 5-day program on just this theme, inverted guard for rocks. You can find it on yogaforbjj.net. Just sign up and check it out. If not, try these at home and use them to kick your friend's ass. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video or see you on the mat.